Hey everybody, this is Perch. This is a viewer mail. I love this viewer mail. Thank you very much for everybody for rising to the the challenge, asking me these awesome questions. This is a great question. This is one I've puzzled over many times. It's been the source of many comic shop debates, and so it's dead on the money. So let's go. I'm not going to read the subject line because that gives it away. We got to read from the mail. So say, hey Perch, I'm back with another question, and thank you for answering the others. By the way, unlike the last couple you answered about how the industry works, I'm wondering if you can help me with something that has been bugging me since the 80s. Okay, are you ready? That's good. In the Marvel Universe, how can the public have a problem with the X-Men because they are mutants, but love Spider-Man, the Avengers, and Fantastic Four? One of the most common examples of bigotries is someone saying that members of a minority group all look the same to them. Would an average Joe living in the Marvel Universe actually be able to tell the difference between a mutant being born with powers and the person who got their powers scientifically? I feel that they would not know the difference and have the same response for acceptance, apathy, or hatred for both types. So if they hate and fear mutants, wouldn't they have the same response to other superpowered beings that aren't born with their powers? I think with the X-Men entering the MCU, this will become a noticeable issue, even to people who don't read the comics. So I'm wondering, what do you think? Thank you, drive safely. All right, this is from Jeff from Chicago, who says, it's good to use a name. Thank you, Jeff, for Chicago. Great question, and absolutely. So this has bugged me in comics for the exact same reason forever. Because it is absolutely true. It was, and there is this way that gets written in the Marvel Universe. In many ways, this was, I think this is one of Chris Claremont's flaws, or one of the things that I don't think he ever really tackled in a meaningful way, is why is it that a mutant comes onto the scene, you're like, oh, gross, mutants, oh, they're disgusting. We need to have a church of religious zealotry to get rid of the mutants. But then the Wasp shows up, various other creatures show up. I mean, characters. So one argument that always comes up with comic shops is like, well, you got Captain America in his Captain America outfit, and that looks nicely patriotic. And then you have Storm, who's dressed up like punk, and in this punk outfit with a mohawk, and the mohawk and the punk outfit, it's like those scary teenagers. And Captain America's got the American flag wrapped around his junk, so therefore, Captain America it's going to work. But that fine, okay. So that's about patriotism, the costume, but Cyclops' costume is benign. Marvel Girl, I mean, Iceman's made out of ice, sure, but I mean, Iron Man's got a metal armor running around, and at various times gotten drunk and then flown that armor into donuts and things. Spider-Man is got kind of these spider-like powers. Now, granted, some people see Spider-Man as icky, and they have done that, but it seems absurd to me that you can have a bug-based creature. You have Ant-Man and the Wasp, who shrink down and control insects, and insects are creepy and all that. But those are wonderful heroes. Wonder Man can fly around made of like energy. The Scarlet Witch can do kind of dark magic, and all that is cool. Vision, kind of soulless android. Nope, cheer for him. And yet, Marvel Girl comes out with a short skirt and and can kind of move things around. It's like, oh, gross, a mutant. Like, again, how would you know? I granted the X-Men have come out and said, I am a mutant, proud mutant. And then I guess people could say, well, I don't like the idea of mutants. But I mean, that wouldn't work either. This idea of like, well, your baby could be a mutant, and that's gross, and we have to register him, and it's disgusting, and it's an act against God. But we're perfectly okay with people flying a rocket into space and just having cosmic beams turn them into a rock monster. That's fine. They would go out of their way to have Ben Grimm like, I'm a gross monster. And then people would show up and be like, no, you're not. You're a hero. Like, you're my hero. And kids are hugging him and everything. And he's like, oh, shucks. But then the Beast comes onto the scene and like, oh, super gross. He's got that blue hair everywhere, and it's like disgusting. Like, how disgusting. I don't know. I've never felt like the Marvel Universe properly explained any of this in the comics, other than, we fear what we don't understand. But we do understand having a magic spider bite somebody to give them insect powers. We understand, that Captain America is shot up with some super steroids and he gets all bulky. We're okay. I mean, like some of the origin stories for a lot of these heroes are, in many cases, horrifying. What is going on with Moon Knight? He died and was resurrected by an Egyptian god. I mean, that's all cool. We get that. We totally understand. Good Christian people are totally okay with Egyptian gods resurrecting people from the dead and giving them, indeterminate powers. But, God help us all if a baby grows wings. Actually, the baby wouldn't have grown wings. Just come of age at 16 and like get some wings sprouting out of the back. That's Tigra. Tigra's okay because she looks kind of slutty and everything else. But furry with a tail who licks herself in public, hot. Guy flying around with angel wings, totally gross mutant. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for you for the male because I do not understand it at all. I do think if you're going to roll this into the MCU and it's going to be like, well, people fear mutants, then that's the normies are, like you say, are not going to accept that. They're like, well, hang on a second. So, the Hulk got gamma radiation, turns into this big monster, regularly smashes everything up, has to be calmed down, and that's cool. We don't have a problem with that, but we do have a problem with anyway. None of this makes sense. And I think in the comics, it was always a big plot flaw of why one group is feared and hated. And I mean, the short answer is the writers and the people involved wanted to have a good allegory for the civil rights movement, and so they're like, well, people hate these people for no good reason, and that's the plot. And okay, cool, but then you're also doing a ton of comics where the people are loved who are kind of have the same thing going on. Again, even the whole Krakoa era. I mean, it is still kind of ridiculous because you do like the Hellfire Gala, and they're like, we terraform Mars and we're going to put some people on it. Yeah, that's scary, sure. Also scary is like, people get terrified on a regular basis. If you are a person living in the Marvel universe, and at various times you have like symbiote goo turn your entire city into mindless, zombie slaves. Or again, the Galactus comes and announces he's going to eat the entire planet. Would you really be more horrified and alarmed by what's going on with Krakoa and all that kind of stuff? It doesn't, like, they have all these plots where it's like, we really hate mutants, but we do like these drugs that help cure our illnesses. So I guess we'll have to deal with our hatred toward mutants. But, we're still going to get a bunch of religious groups are going to spring up to attack mutants because they're abominations against God. But we like She-Hulk. She's got a good ass, so that's fine. She-Hulk's fine. Blood transfusion turns her into a big gamma monster, no problem. I don't know. I think this is clearly one of the big. It's not hypocrisy. It's one of the big plot holes. And I don't think anybody's ever properly explained it. It's like, and I've heard people argue and debate this hard in the comics, and they'll say things like, "Well, mutants are more hated because they're not understood." It's like, as opposed to the Inhumans, for example, the Inhumans are okay. We don't have fear and hatred toward them. We're fine with that. All right. I mean, I think the other argument I hear a lot is the Avengers in particular, many of them get their powers through very understandable means, like the super soldier serum, or Tony Stark built some armor, or the Vision is a robot that they cooked up, or Hank Pym uses Hank Pym gas to turn him small. That becomes a little bit more understood. But there's been times where they've done these plots where they struggle with, say, Namor. It's like, Namor's like, I can't be an Avenger because at one point I tried to drown the entire Manhattan in water, and because I'm part of the Atlantean and I hate the surface dwellers. And then, and the Avengers are like, no, we love you, Namor. You're great. No, we're okay. We're willing to forgive all that kind of stuff. No problem. But not Colossus. That guy's a son of a bitch mutant, a gross, dirty mutant. Sometimes he's human, sometimes he's got metal skin. Plus, he's Russian and he paints. Very sus. Anyway, I don't know. Very good question. I'm hoping somebody in the comments can come up with a logical answer. To me, that feels like something the MCU should absolutely try and avoid, is going down that path, because otherwise, it's it won't end in a good place. Anyway, thanks for listening.